All right, you guys, welcome back. I'm super excited to share this camping pipe that I made. I've always loved camping, and Yosemite's only a few hours away from me. So I drove up to Yosemite and I made a Sherlock to match my camping cookware, which is like this classic, you can see it right there. It's like this blue enamel with white spots. It's super classic. So I wanted to make a Sherlock to match it and have when we make a meal, sit by a river or cliffside and just enjoy the nature and the isolation. And it's good to have a good Sherlock there and a good buddy. That's my dog Osa. She's super wonderful. Yeah, so here's a shot of Yosemite for those of you guys that haven't seen it. It's this incredible landscape that's so rich with life and water, and especially this year all of the water was so much because of all the rain. So we brought the Sherlock everywhere, and you can see some shots of it where you can see the white spots and the blue. And anyway, we'll get into the studio and I'll show you how I made it. One of the cool things about the Sherlock that I haven't shared in a video yet was how to do a complex, larger opal encasement. So I did an opal encasement, and it's a wigwag pattern, so I thought it'd be fun. The first step to make the Sherlock, for those of you guys that are kind of new to the channel or haven't tried this, it's a metal blow tube where I've gathered some color on the front, and it's called a solid color blowout. A lot of my videos in the past go into more deeper explanation of this technique, but basically I'm gathering the glass and collecting it on the front and then blowing it, getting it nice and warm. And this color is called Blue Blizzard from Troutman. It was a tag color. It might be a North Star color these days, but I think that's tag, and you can definitely pick that up at Mountain Glass Arts. Alright, so I'm going to pick out the front and make that open so that I can connect it to a clear tube, because you don't want to leave it too long on the metal tube because it'll just break off because it's not compatible. So here I am attaching the 12mm blow tube to the blown out Blue Blizzard color, and I'm going to do two of these. One is going to be for the can and the other one will be for the stem of the Sherlock. Alright, so here we go. We're just going to pick that out and even it out, and this is at this point more kind of even out the shape and make it nice and round and the wall thickness really even. So I'm going to make another one, and this is Blue Blizzard again. You can see even on this angle that it's a little bit rough of a color. You can see that little thing sticking out of it, and you can kind of feel these things, the white specks when you have the color in your hand. And to me it reminds me a little bit of like if you were melting glass in a furnace in a crucible and a little piece of that crucible cracked off, like little pieces maybe got caught in the glass, and yeah, but that's what it looks like to me. But maybe I'm sure they did it on purpose eventually, but it might just be little pieces of silica in there. Anyway, so we're blowing this up, and if you guys are making this Sherlock, please tag me in it and show me what you did, or take your Sherlock camping, show me what your camping Sherlock looks like. Just tag Revere Glass and I'll see it, or me at Revere Glass. Yeah, so here we go, attaching the next one and to the blow tube, and then removing it from the metal blow tube. And it's important to do that relatively quick because otherwise it'll crack. Alright, so we have a pretty nice even bubble, and now I'm going to put that in the kiln and we'll get back to it. If you guys are enjoying this video or you like the channel, please make sure to give us a thumbs up and like and subscribe. And yeah, it really means a lot. We put a lot of work into this, and you guys give us someone to be, so thank you. Alright, so here I have my wigwag. So I drop that in the 16mm. You got to put it in just the right angle. There we go. So now I have the 16mm tube, and I'm slowly melting that down and kind of letting that opal fall into the glass as it gets soft. Like the opal moves as fast as the glass is sucking it in, and by doing so it really sets it up for possibly no air trapping. But on a super complex shape like this with overhangs and things like that, it's likely to trap some air. So we're gonna have to pick that out if it happens. We'll see if it happens. All right, so I just sucked just a tiny little bit to finish off that encasement, and it looks like there's probably just a little tiny piece of air. It's like almost on the verge of could be left in, but I want to show you guys how to pick out this air trap if it's if you get that too. So you can see there's a tiny little air in there, and I'm going to start picking it off with my tweezers. I'm careful not to put my tweezers in the flame because they're metal. And you could do this with clear glass as well, but I feel like I have a little bit more precision with my tweezers. So I'm heating up the glass and then pulling it off, and then I'm squeezing that air up outside of that little overhang so I can pull that overhang close. See, pulling it, and there we go. We can get that off. All right, and then there may be a little piece left, so I can go back in and get it, but I ended up getting all the air out of there. So I'm just squeezing it together, and we're gonna re-encase it, right? Once we pull off this excess glass, and by the way, this technique is called skinning the opal. Yeah, the first person I heard talk about this was Yushin many years ago, but I'm not sure who to credit with the original concept of this. Anyway, so you can see I've pulled it out, and I'm right in the crevice, and I'm picking out that air. And once I pick out that air, I'm gonna attach my other punty rod, my clean punty rod, maybe 7mm, something like that. And now that it's got a skin of clear glass on it, it's gonna go back into that other clear with a lot more ease, and very much more higher probability of not trapping any air into it. So you can see I've got it connected, and I'm heating it up. Also, once the opal is encased in clear, you can be a lot more rough with it in the flame, because if you put that opal in the flame with no clear on it, it's really going to burn out and you're not going to see it. Here's a technique that I like to do, which is to center the opal inside the glass. I've never seen anyone else do this one, but I'm not sure if you guys have seen that or know somebody who does that. But basically, I was twisting it around, and that was kind of pushing the opal into the center of the clear, and it's going to give me a nice position to attach it. And so now that I have all the glass that I want on it, I'm going to take off one of my punties, and I'm going to try to set it up in so that the face is facing the way that I want, right? It's kind of at an angle right now. And so I'm going to attach my punty at an angle to that other one, and now I'm going to have the opal in the right position to attach. So I'll remove the punty that it came on, and you can see that's a much thicker, stronger punty compared to the one that I attached. That's kind of closer to the angle of the face. And you know, you may not get it exactly right and have to center it a little bit, or the glass may be off center because it was at a different axis. So take your time to get this into the right shape and everything before you want to set it up to attach on the Sherlock. So we got that in the kiln, and now I have a little piece of radicello that I made from a previous project, and we're just going to take this out. If you guys are interested in how I've been making radicello in my studio recently, please check out, I think, several of the last few videos go into it, and then there's one specific video where I think we make a bubble cap. But check that out if you're interested in learning more how I made this pattern. So I have this radicello pattern, and I'm going to connect that to my blow tube, and I'm going to separate this into two pieces. I'm going to use one for the mouthpiece and one for the bowl. And I feel like I kind of wanted to do something a little bit special on this camping Sherlock because, you know, matches the colors, and, you know, when you're camping, you want things to be nice. So, anyway, it's the radicello. It's an Italian technique originally, and the original technique, radicello, also had an air trap in there, and the way that they did it in a furnace was slightly different. I won't get too much into it right now, but check out some more videos if you like the pattern. It's one of my favorites. All right, so we're gonna heat this up and make it into a nice cylinder, and that's going to set us up to make the shape that we want. All right, I'm going to pick that out so that I can pop the hole and push the bowl. So I'm using my clear 7mm rod and just picking it out by touching the corner to the glass and then pulling it out and slowly bringing the glass to the surface and creating a thinner area where I want the air to go through. So now I'm going to blow, pop the hole, and I'm going to attach this piece of reticello to the blue, and this is going to be the bowl piece. So I like it kind of a little bit accentuated, so I'm not going to fully melt it in. I'll melt it in so it's connected, but I won't shape it to be the same cylinder. I'm going to leave the bowl kind of puffed out a little bit like it is, and then I'm going to push the bowl into that. So I'll heat this up, pop a little hole, grab my bowl push, and push that together. And so there we go, have the bowl for the Sherlock and the reticello on top. All right, so you can see that reticello, and I really like how when you put the reticello on the bowl of a piece, that the central point, the termination of the reticello is right in the center, and I think that's just such a beautiful look. All right, so now I've opened up the hole, and this is going to be where I'm going to connect the stem. So I'll shape the stem a little bit and kind of match that, attach the reticello to that. All right, so here we go. Heat up the stem, and there's several videos where I make Sherlocks in different ways, so make sure you check that out if you're interested in specifics of different kinds of Sherlock techniques. All right, so this is the stem, which I'm going to pull a little bit thinner, and then the other piece will be like the base, or closer to where it's connecting to the bowl. And the first section I pulled was the one that's going to be connecting to the mouth, and it's basically the same shape, but the one towards my right hand is thicker and a little shorter, because that's going to match the bowl versus the top one, which is going to get thinner and bend a little bit. Now I'm making a small Maria in the center just to kind of accentuate the shape, have a little bit of fun. You can make a couple Marias if you want. All right, so I'm going to blow out the bottom and just kind of thin it out, and then I'll be able to pop my hole where I want the Sherlock to be attached. But before I do that, I'm going to try to finish up the mouthpiece and make sure that that's all done before we attach it to the other piece. All right, connect these two together, and now remove it so that I'm connected to the base, right, the thicker part, and then I'm going to attach the other reticello piece here. So I'll open this up a little bit with my jacks, and you guys can use any tool that you want. You can use a reamer, jacks, or you can even use the corner of a marver. All right, so now I have my reticello ready to attach, and you can see it down there below my other piece. And I may need to heat that up and reshape it a little bit depending on how I want it to look, but it's got pretty flat edge. All right, so now I'm going to remove my 12mm, and I can melt this in and get that a little bit more centered and a little bit more squat. I think there's a little bit too much glass on here, so I'm going to remove the excess glass, and that's also going to help me with the shape that I want. And so I'll heat that whole thing up and hold it back and blow a little bit, and then I can really work that like a nice sphere. If you want to jack in the line a little bit, you can use your jacks, or even a blade like the one in the picture there. The next thing that I'm going to do is attach a punty, and this is going to give me some more stability as I go into that seal, and blow it out a little bit and kind of shape it, because I really want that curve just right for my camping Sherlock, my camping experience. And yeah, it did end up matching, and it was a lot of fun to have the matching set with the enamel and white look. All right, so now I'm gonna attach a blow tube to the stem now that I have the right shape, and the radicello on there. I grab the bowl piece out of the kiln. Let's see how that's going to look. So I'm going to clean up the stem a little bit and pick off the glass and then blow just to kind of even out the shape. So now I'm attaching a 7mm punty so that it'll give me some leverage and stability as I kind of do this pre-bend and kind of curve it in the way that I want it to look and be the start of that U-bend. And I really picked this technique up from LED Glass Art, and super wonderful human and really talented artist, and he's done a few videos. And as I started working with him and watched his technique on the Sherlock, it made a lot of sense to do this bend, and it gives you the ability to make a few different kinds of Sherlock shapes as well. So I decided to do that on this Camping Sherlock. Alright, so I have both holes hot. I'm going to connect them and push and then pull and remove the clear glass, remove the blow tube. So this is three angles, which I hope helps you guys. You can see I'm picking out the glass, the excess clear glass. And on this particular Sherlock, I decided that my bridge is going to be a permanent bridge. And so I'm going to add that in first and make sure that I'm keeping my temporary seal of the bottom, the U-bend, warm. But by adding that bridge in there, I can really heat up the U-bend and blow it out, because that piece of clear on the top is keeping it stable. So it's just a good technique and another way to make a bridge, and something that can be left on the glass. So I'm heating up the whole base of the glass where that U-bend is going to be, because I really want that to be a smooth and beautiful shape. So it's going to take a lot of heat and using gravity to my advantage. So I'm just going in and heating up one side, then the other side, and the bottom as well. And I'd kind of do one at a time, like focused, but the whole thing is pretty hot, because I feel like you get a nice fluid shape like that. But yeah, I'd love to see what you guys make with your Sherlocks and the U-bends. Alright, so once you get your U-bend all set up, one of the next steps is going to be making a carb. Well, I mean, in my case, for the Camping Sherlock, I wanted to make a raised old school carb, and I didn't have any more scraps of the blue blizzard, so this is just a quick and easy way to get a little bubble. It's just a small coil pot. So now I have this little coil pot I made out of blue blizzard, and I'm going to attach a very small punty and then do a flame cut so that I can have a hollow piece, like a little hollow cone, to attach to the piece. Alright, so I'm going to heat that up, and it's so thin it really just breaks off. Alright, I'll open that up, and if I need to, I can trim off the lip a little bit with some shears, or use your jacks or your graphite to open it. Alright, so now I have a little piece of blue blizzard, and I'm going to use that as the raised carb. I'll heat that up and get that ready to attach to the Camping Sherlock. Alright, here we go. First, we're going to attach the wigwag. You see how I have it nice and straight now? And I'm attaching a little bit of color in the background. I think I chose black in this one. And just heat that up, and that way it gives a really nice solid background that's not distracting. How do you guys like the background in this video? New. Alright, so now we have the Sherlock. I'm gonna bend the neck back, and here we go. I like to have a nice kickback Sherlock. It makes me feel just relaxed, and especially in those settings, super beautiful. Alright, now I'm going to go in with my mini torch and clean up that bend a little bit. Sometimes when I bend there's just a little bit of like a devitrification or fuzz, something that happens there, and I'm going to remove that with a little bit of oxidizing heat. And now that I have that U-bend made, I'm going to pop the hole where I'm going to put the carb, and now I'm going to attach my raised carb. And I'll be able to blow it once I get it on there. It's not the shape that it will be. Maybe remove some. All right, heat that up and gonna blow it out, make sure it's nice and connected and melted. Maybe take off a little bit and pull it in the shape that I want. See, I'm kind of pulling it and curving it and removing a little bit of glass. And now I'll heat it up. You can see from 3 different angles. And there we go, pop the carb. And I have it kicked back a little bit because that's the way I like to use it. And I was making this for Yosemite. Pop the hole, make sure that it's nice and clear. I think I removed a little bit of glass in between those steps, so it was a little bit long for me. And I use this new Taglia tool. It's like a short reamer, which is super helpful for situations like this. And I'm gonna have it in the Bunsen for a few seconds and kind of stabilize the temperature, and then attach the wigwag opal. So I have it heated up where I'm going to attach it, and I have the opal hot. I'm going to push and then pull just a little bit, and that's going to make a nice clean attachment. Take off my punty, and now I'll go in with my mini torch and just go around the edge of that Sherlock, and where that's connected, it's going to smooth out that whole thing and hopefully make it so that it doesn't crack, because it's a nice smooth connection. I like to use my Bunsen to equalize the heat before I put it in the kiln, especially if I've had it out for a while and I do some complex attachments. When you're ready, you want to heat up the end, or you can detach in any way that you want, and open that up and make a nice mouthpiece. And here's a pretty cool paddle that has a reamer and a mouthpiece shaper on the thing. I think this is a Derby pedal. Alright, so heat that up and put that in the kiln, and that should be ready for camping, I think. Here we go. Cool, guys. Well, here is the camping Sherlock. You can see the enamel blue and the white specks right there, and the beautiful background of Yosemite with the lush water, the meals, and the Sherlock, the full set. And it was a lot of fun to go camping and have the set. Please comment on the video, like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this, and off back to the bay to make some more glass. We'll see you guys there. Thanks a lot.